FMLS this morning.
All right, tell us about it, Michael.
It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 3-sided brick house in East Cobb. Beautiful backyard, pool, new everything inside. The guy put in, tons of work. All these new windows, paint, carpet, 2 new HVAC systems, new hot water heater. Tons of stuff. The place is going to be just perfect, mint condition. And we're asking $550. He expects it to go up closer to $6, so we'll see.
You sound just like a realtor.
Well, thank you. So actually, it's coming soon right now. So they wanted the sign in the yard. I was happy to do that. Got the sign in the yard 2 days ago. Got the listing in this morning because they don't want it actually to go live until July the 8th. They've got all this stuff going on inside still. And that's the day that they thought that everything would be ready. And you can only have a house in FMLS coming soon for 3 weeks. So 3 weeks, it's 3 weeks from today. So I couldn't put it in yesterday or the day before. So anyway.
All right. So you're going to get clobbered.
Yeah, I'm expecting that.
Okay. So we want to make sure this goes for everyone as well. There are basically 2 lists of people that you should be keeping track of with respect to this listing, or really any listing, right? One is all the agents that inquire.
Right.
Who they are, what brokers they're a part of, their cell phone number, the simple stuff, right?
Right.
And hopefully it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, all of the buyer inquiries. Right. Remember, you want to, let's just do a really quick buyer intake, like 10 seconds. Okay. By the way, if you sign on to the Google Drive, you'll see a sheet that's called the buyer intake script. Okay. And what you don't want to do is, the goal of these incoming calls is to get their information and to get an appointment. The goal is not to answer 100% of their questions until they've determined that it's not the right home for them. Right. So for example, if you say, hey, it's a 4-bedroom home, and they're like, well, we're looking for a 5-bedroom home, click. Right. You don't have any information. Right. Or if they say, well, what's the price? If you say, well, it's $550, and they say, oh, we can only afford $400, click. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I can find you one for $4.
What?
I said, I could find you one for $4.
Exactly. So you might say, hey, tell me a little bit about your search. Have you been looking for a long time? What's the budget that you're comfortable with?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You'll get to the answer, but don't give it all to them right at the very beginning, because they will leave the conversation the second they have eliminated the house. Oh, it has a basement? Don't need a basement. Oh, it doesn't have a basement? Bye. Right. So the idea is to build that relationship with them. I'm not saying hide the information. I'm just saying give it to them slowly and understand that you need to take control of that conversation, because you're only going to get one shot with that lead.
Yeah. And I think the way to do that is to ask questions. So if they say, oh, we're looking for, they say, oh, how many bedrooms? You say, well, how many bedrooms are you looking for? And then dig deeper about that. Is it, why do you need those bedrooms? And then you can start to build that relationship. So it's asking questions back before you give information.
Right. Exactly.
Can you, by the way, can you hear me better? I have my
Hey, you sound great today, Candace.
Okay, Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Michael's love language is gift giving.
I love that.
Indeed.
Me too. Okay, so a couple quick things I want to review with you today, then I'm going to pass it over to Candace. First of all, we have Shanique Palmer. She is with us today. She's about to join the program. She's new to the office and relatively new to Metro Atlanta, so let's all welcome her.
Hi, Shanique. Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Couple other things I want to review with you guys. We're going to stop. We got a hard stop right at 9, or maybe even a couple minutes before 9 today, so that we can go into the bold room. So for those that are in bold, make sure you take lots of great notes. We're going to have give you guys an opportunity to share what you're learning. I wrote it on the message yesterday, but we are going to actually, I don't know if you guys caught this, but the U.S. government just passed a law, I guess, that says that Juneteenth is now a federal observed federal holiday. Juneteenth is technically Saturday, but we're going to be observing it tomorrow. And Keller Williams stated that it was a Keller Williams holiday last year, so we will not have any functions tomorrow. So please remind yourself of that. And we'll get started right back on Monday. I'll be sending out the week at a glance a little bit later this afternoon. And don't forget to update your numbers before the call on Monday. We are doing good. We're doing really good. I'm excited to have my coaching call with my coach today. We are on pace, if not slightly above pace with appointments. We're just a hair behind on listings taken. So go out there and get that paperwork signed. I know we're having a lot of success with taking listings and getting people through the process. So congratulations on that. Okay.
I was never more excited to post my numbers when I could put that one there. Whew.
I know it's a whole different ball game, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need like a little victory, right? A little tiny victory, and then our whole mindset shifts, right? Yeah. So how can we identify what that tiny little victory is going to be, right? And guys, the tiny little victory could be anything. I mean, the tiny little victory could be, I opened the lockbox for the first time. Like I remember the first time I opened the lockbox for somebody, I didn't know that you're supposed to push it up first, right? And so I sat there like a freaking idiot trying to figure out how to do it, right? And I was like, I think something's wrong with this. Well, let's meet again. You see what I'm saying? So just every little thing can be interpreted as a victory. So great job, Michael. Great job to all the others that are out there working hard every single day. Trent just wrote his first offer yesterday. I know. Greta just bought her home. I don't think we took a moment to recognize that. So congratulations.
Way to go, Greta.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay. Candace, take us away. You're on mute.
I could teach
one of those signs that just says you're on mute.
I know. I could teach the whole class on mute. So today we're going to talk about another niche, so when we talk about niches, these are areas that you could become masterful in. It doesn't mean it's your only area, but it might be an area where you have a heart to help, or you feel a calling for, or you have a personal relationship with. So we're trying to explore these niches so that you can get an overview of them, and then decide if there's one or two where you'd like to become more skilled or more expert at that. So today we're going to talk about active adult communities. And as you know, this is near and dear to my heart because when I was with Keller Williams before, the reason I left was to go on site at an awesome active adult community. Back then it was called Seasons at Laurel Canyon. Now it's called Splail at Laurel Canyon, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But that's something that if you have parents or friends who have parents, if you're not yet a 55 plus person like I am, those are people. And what I find is that people don't tend to talk about their parents unless there's something going wrong with them, where they need a lot of help. So this is a conversation when you're talking with your friends and you ask about their parents, you're like, how are they living in their home? And that's a way that you can open that conversation. And the reason I say this is because according to research, seniors who live in a retirement community setting live about 7 to 10 years longer, and they live stronger. And that's compared to living in their private homes. So that's pretty compelling. That's a compelling reason to live in active adult communities. And the reasons why is because there's less stress. They have a maintenance-free lifestyle. They don't come home every day and see a window that needs to be replaced.
Stay closer. Stay closer.
Oh, hey, I've got my microphone on. Is that better?
Much better.
Okay, I'll hold it like this. I'll pretend I'm a rock star. But anyway, they don't come home and see that they have to clean out the gutters or call somebody to pressure wash the house. All of that's taken care of. And a lot of times when people live in their private homes and they're in a community where maybe the kids grow up and they grow away and then the families move away, they're a little bit more isolated. Whereas in an active adult community, there's friendships at the ready. I mean, everybody is a lot of people in active adult communities are very social. And they share common interests a lot of times because they've chosen that community based on the amenities that that community has, where they do share those common interests. We also have opportunities to entertain and be entertained, where they can just walk next door or walk 2 doors down or go to the clubhouse for a dinner. Same, people can come to their homes. So it's a lot more social. And they live in a resort-like setting. It's kind of like being on a cruise full time without the ocean. In a lot of, in some communities are not like that. They have all the amenities. There are typically exercise and wellness programs available to promote physical health, so it makes it a lot easier. There's pool aerobics. There's somebody leading a class, and even for people that are more seated, they teach classes where they move their upper bodies. There's peace of mind knowing that they have services available if they had a need. For instance, they can always reach out to a neighbor, and a lot of times the social directors have programs in place where if there's a need to go to a hospital or so, those services are in place. And then also the homes are more easily navigated without stairs. Sometimes the baths are outfitted with a walk-in shower with a seat. They have grab bars. So while it's not necessarily, for instance, somebody 55 might not be looking at the need of having a shower with a grab bar. A lot of people go into these homes thinking of it as their final home. And so knowing that they can age in that home, and even over the next 20, 30 years, that's a comfort.
Stay close.
Seniors living in private homes can feel.
Sorry, I sorry about doing that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure that microphone is activated. I think you might still be using your laptop mic.
Yeah, because every time you shift your head, it's not catching you.
Yeah, so it may just be a setting we'll have to fool with in the future, but I don't think that's.
Okay, I'm going to put it down then.
Okay.
There's no on-off button, and it did say your USB device is ready, so I thought it was good. But
there may be a microphone setting in your settings.
Oh, I bet you're right. I have to go into sound and change the. That's what I need to do. Okay, I'll do that.
Don't worry about that now. Just
okay.
Keep going.
Okay, so seniors living in homes can feel isolated without all of the things available. I don't know how many people I know who are in their 70s and 80s. Their big social event is to sit on the couch and watch TV. Very sedentary. And the other thing that happens is because, and I've seen this with some of my relatives, because it's hard to get out and shop, they end up eating fast food. They end up eating cans of soup. So the nutrition is not there. And that's part of what drives the longevity that happens in the active adult community. So I think that's a pretty compelling reason. I mean, I have an aunt and uncle who lived in San Diego, and I used to go on layovers when I was a flight attendant to visit them in San Diego. And my goodness, they had an avocado tree and a lemon tree and other trees in their backyard. And we ate the best food. They would go get Dungeness crab and get sourdough bread, and we would have a big avocado salad and lots of greens and things. And they ended up moving back to St. Louis, which is where we are all from. And when I went to visit them in St. Louis, they had nothing in their refrigerator, nothing. And when I looked in the pantry, they had cans of Campbell's tomato soup, and that's what they were living on. And they didn't last very long in St. Louis, unfortunately. So if I had known then what I know now, I would have insisted that they go into an active adult community. Not necessarily assisted living, but active adult. Assisted living is a different thing that we're talking about today. So there's two types of communities. There's targeted age communities. Now those are not age restricted, but they sway toward 55 plus. So for instance, if you know someone has an adult child living with them who's not in their 50s yet, that might be a community that you look at, a targeted age community. Then there are 55 plus communities, and typically the restriction and the covenants and restrictions say that at least one member of the household has to be 55 or older. Now keep in mind that there are generally, I'm close. Keep in mind that there are generally no restrictions.
You got to get you a new computer.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Can I have a Mac, please?
There you go.
I'm buying my wife a Mac. You're next in line.
Okay, thank you. Dang, I hate when I come after the wives. Okay, well, keep in mind that there generally are no restrictions for visits from children or grandchildren, but there is often an expectation of not compromising the quiet or enjoyment of other residents. And some communities actually do have child play areas and parks available so that when grandkids come, the grandparents can enjoy time with them and the kids can be kids.
That's cool.
Now, these are some intake questions that you're going to want to ask that are specific to age-related communities or active adult communities. So you'd ask, and we had a lot of sales training when I was on site, and that's something that we don't have a lot of as single realtors. But one of the things they taught us to do was we never referred to in a new construction a lot as a lot because that sounds too much like a plot and that sounds funereal. So we were taught to say home site. What home site do you
Funereal. I have never heard that word before.
I know I pull them out once in a while. but anyway, so refer to it as a home site. The other thing is you always use the word important as much as you can use. And I use this in my regular real estate too, not just active adults, but so I would say, what is important to you in a 55 plus community? Let's talk about amenities. So amenities can range from a clubhouse like the community that I was in. The clubhouse was 30,000 square feet. It had a zero edge entry pool where they could walk in like at a beach. It had the clubhouse had an arts and crafts room. It had a teaching kitchen. It had a library, a ballroom, a fitness center, gourmet catering kitchen, indoor heated sailing lap pool, and it had a library. That's one of the coolest clubhouses I've ever seen. Del Webb also has those kind of clubhouses. Del Webb provides a real experience for active adults. And then I've sold to active adults to the orchards, and the orchards are typically quadruplexes, and they're smaller communities with a smaller clubhouse where people like to play. Typically, they have a fitness room and they might have a pool, but typically what goes on there is canasta, mahjong, backgammon, cards, those kinds of things. And maybe they get together for, garden club or something like that. But there's not a lot of those kinds of things. It's a totally different environment and it's suitable for some people, depending on what they want. So I would ask them, how important is it for you if there are dining facilities or spas and salons? How important is it for you if there's fitness and aquatic centers? And sometimes you're going to get people who are like, I don't need all that. And other people are going to be like, yeah, sign me up. Would you like a golf course? Is that important to you? What about exercise classes? Is that important to you? How about wellness clinics, social or physical activity programs, arts and crafts, scheduled transportation for shopping, assisted living services in case there's a need. Maybe one spouse is older than the other. Spiritual gatherings, landscaping and maintenance is almost always included. So do you have, and this is the second question, do you have lots of interests and hobbies to pursue? That would mean a larger community with more amenities. Would you prefer a smaller, more intimate community? How important is it for you to be close to medical and healthcare facilities? Some people are very focused on health. A lot of people don't age without ailments. Let's put it that way. Some people are really healthy when they age. And so I can tell you there are people in my family who have a laundry list of, or let's just say a counter filled with medicine bottles. And there are people in my family who take vitamins, all of them upwards of 60. So how much would you be comfortable paying for HOA fees? Most 55 plus communities have monthly HOA fees to cover the costs for amenities, lawn care, sidewalks, golf, etc. The size of the HOA depends on the number and type of amenities. HOA fees range on average from about 100 a month to about 600 a month. So that's a really important question to have for your active adults. Now, a lot of times active adults have homes that are paid off. So they have no mortgages left unless they've taken out a mortgage or taken out a second mortgage or an equity line for various reasons. But a lot of times those homes are paid off, so they can accommodate or they can weather some of those HOA fees for an ongoing period of time. But that's an important question to have about them, about their monthly budget. What is important to you in your next home? What do you want in your next home that you didn't have in the home you currently live in? Some want to downsize and keep it small, and others still want a larger home. They have family and friends that they anticipate visiting them, and they need a lot of bedrooms and baths. They just maybe don't want stairs, but they want a real open floor plan, a big kitchen. Some people want a small kitchen. They don't want to cook. They want to go to the clubhouse for meals. And then, of course, if downsizing, would you like contact information for a home organizer? If you're going to work in the active adult arena, it's really important that you have a home organizer, somebody that can go in and with compassion help them decide what they can comfortably get rid of. And there's a method to that. And the method is you first make a pile of I don't care, that can go, a pile of I'm not sure about, and a pile of I have to keep. And typically what you do is you go into each room and you do it room by room. This is what organizers have taught me. You go into each room by room, and you start with the small stuff, the stuff that's the little tchotchkes that are on the dressers. And then you move to the drawers, and then you move to the closet. But a home organizer can help them navigate all of that. Also, a home organizer can help them pack. There's somebody that I use. Her name is Sheila Anderson. She's with an Organizing Angel. She's not that expensive, and my clients who have worked with her just absolutely think she's fantastic. And she's very compassionate. So she's not going to say, "Oh, what about this old figurine of a horse? Why would you keep that?" Well, no, that might be something that their parent gave them, right? And they want to keep it. And then another question is, do you have a home to sell? And yes, many times, yes, they do. So then you can help them with, I'm keeping this fast, guys, because we've got 6 minutes. So resources, I'm going to post this in the PC help community, but resources are New Home Community, newhomesource.com, Georgia, Active Adult, that's how you Google that. In FMLS, if you want to find 55 plus communities, there's a special circumstance down at the bottom in criteria. You can choose that. There's a website called 55places.com. And then you can also get your senior real estate designation, and that's called an SRES designation. A couple more things. These are things to watch and ask for if you're helping somebody buy in an active adult community. It's really important to ask for the HOA budget, the covenants and restrictions. What does the community take care of? Do they take care of roofs? Do they take care of the exterior of the home? Or is that the responsibility of the homeowner? Things like windows. I mean, 10, 15 years down the line, when your person is 55 years now and is 70, do they have to think about replacing those windows on their own? And minutes, I always ask for minutes if available from the last 3 meetings. Really scary to put somebody in a great community and then find out that their HOA budget is in the red and they don't have enough money. And that means assessments for your active adults, who are the number one concern for active adults is, will I have enough money to live on for the rest of my life? So a scary assessment because an HOA has not been managed correctly or has run out of money. That's a big concern. So if you're going to do this, make sure that's an area that you really focus on. Depending on the age of the community, have there been any assessments? And if so, when, how much, what for? If buying in a new community, it's really important to find the builder developer reputation. Are they going to be there to service the 1-year warranty or the 210 warranty? And I'll just quickly say what that is. A lot of times builders will have a 1-year warranty, and that's a punch list basically for things like nail pops, tape that cracks over sheet, over drywall, that kind of thing. Things that you notice in your house the first year that you didn't notice in your final walkthrough. A 210 warranty, 2 years is for systems like plumbing, HVAC, and 10 years is for structural. Not all builders offer a 210 warranty, but some do. So builder reputation is very important. Finding out what's going on in adjacent properties is also important. And you can find that out at the city planning and zoning department. It's especially important if it's a smaller community, because if they're going to build a new school right next to your quiet active adult community, that might be a joy for someone, and it might not be. Encourage your buyer to talk to the residents of the community to see if it's a good fit. They're going to live there for a long time in many cases. Is the HOA reasonable or dysfunctional? A lot of times people get on the HOA, they have nothing to do, they don't have grandkids, and they make everyone's life miserable. Some of us have talked about that in here with their own HOAs.
They haven't had a whole lot of power or authority their whole life until they join the active adult HOA.
There you go.
Run wild.
Yeah. I would never ask these questions. These are not for you to ask. These are for the people you're helping to ask. What is the political climate of the community? That can be a make or break for people these days. Accepting or rigid? Are they accepting or rigid of different viewpoints? Do the residents love living there? Do they like their neighbors? Those are questions. Encourage your clients to think about what's important to them and ask questions to find out if the community reflects those priorities. Do the homes have wheelchair accessible entries, doorways, exterior and interior? Now, this might not be a conversation you have with your clients unless they do have that need, but a lot of times in active adult communities, they do make the doors wider just in case, and that's important. Is there a step up to the front entrance in case, I mean, for instance, if you're 55, you might have a parent who's 85, right? So your parent needs to be able to walk into your home if they come to visit or you go get them and bring them to your home. Don't write off these buyers once they've purchased, because changes in their families can make changes for them. Grandparents tend to follow the grandkids around. So if their son or daughter gets relocated to Florida and their grandkids are going to Florida and they're used to having them close by, they might be wanting to sell that active adult home and move to Florida to be closer to their kids. So don't necessarily write them off once you get them settled. And that's what I have for you today.
All right, let me summarize. I don't mean to be so quick, but first of all, thank you. Clearly, you've done some preparation for today, and not to mention the fact that you worked in this industry for a long time. So thank you. Mm-hmm. There's two primary things I heard. One of which is you gotta slow down, right? You gotta understand that these people are. This is kind of one of those moments when they are realizing that life is about to make a big shift, right? And their mental state is likely fragile. So you gotta slow down. You cannot just treat them like you treat a 25-year-old millennial who makes decisions quickly and is on their phone all day, right? It's totally different. You gotta slow down. You gotta, oftentimes we teach you to mirror and match the way they're interacting, their body language, their speech patterns, that how fast or slow they talk. You gotta slow down, right? And you gotta, it's a special niche, right? You have to have a lot of patience. You have to be you have to be willing to ask those questions and wait for their response and wait for them to think about it if need be, right? The other thing I heard is that's still a lot of questions, right? We got to get comfortable with what are the questions that we ask our consumers so that we can really understand what they're aiming for, right? Is it important for you to be near amenities? Is it important for you to be near the school? Is it important for you to be, close to a highway or, a health facility or something like that, right? Do you need, easy access for handicap stuff, right? The more questions you ask, the deeper your relationship with that person is going to be. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they're 20 or 200. Okay. All right, guys. As always, we appreciate the opportunity to work together. On Thursdays for today and 4 more weeks, we're going to end right at 9. So I appreciate your patience. For those in bold, keep an open mind today, and hopefully you learn a lot. And for those that are having some successes, don't forget to share them publicly so we can cheer on everybody, because sometimes there's going to be a day where either you're having a tough day or somebody else is having a tough day, and they see that Michael got a new listing or Greta just signed a contract or Trent just submitted an offer or whatever, and it turns everything around for them. So please be comfortable sharing, okay?
Thanks,
Have
Bill.
a great day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Bill. Thanks, everybody.